Hi, and welcome to the second book in my reading romance series, or introduction to reading romance. In this one, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my history with the genre and why I continue to read it today. I'm not sure if I've shared this here before. I feel like I might have, but I don't remember. I believe it was the summer before my sophomore year of high school. My stepmom read romance and my sister read it. She doesn't anymore. She says she grew out of it. I would make fun of them, say that it was like porn and that it was stupid, and because I was naive and young. My stepmom said that I shouldn't say anything like that unless I had read one, and so my dad agreed with her, and I feel like that's horrible. I'm saying that my parents made me read a romance novel when I was 14, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I wasn't super young. So my stepmom recommended, she was like, I have the perfect book for you. It takes place in Ireland, which she knew I loved, and there's a subplot in it about fairies, which again, she knew I loved. So she gave it to me, and it was a Nora Roberts book. It was called Jewels of the Sun. I don't own it. In retrospect, I don't think Nora Roberts is the perfect introduction to romance, personally, but I enjoyed that book perfectly well. But what I liked the most about it was there was these side characters in it that I just could feel the tension between them, and I wanted to know if they got a story. And if you read romance, you know it's sequel bait. In historicals, a carriage full of women will show up somewhere and be like, oh, we're gonna have a bunch of books now. And that's what happened, and I ended up getting the second book in the series, Tears of the Moon, and it's about those two characters, Sean and Brenna. And I liked Jewels of the Sun, but this book blew me away. I've read this book so many times, and I couldn't contain myself. And then I moved on to the historical genre, which was predominantly what my stepmom read. So I read a lot of Joanna Lindsey, because that's what she read and had around the house. I'm not a super fan of Joanna Lindsey. Her stuff's a little older for me, and by that I mean the heroines tend to be a little young for my taste, and they're more older historicals with rape fantasies and stuff like that, which really isn't my cup of tea. But historical is where I found my stride, and I started reading Julia Quinn and Eloisa James and Lisa Kleypas and just all these amazing authors in the historical genre. I kind of haven't looked back. There was a huge chunk of my life where I was really only reading romance novels. Eventually I branched out to paranormal, and I came back to contemporary, which is what this is. There's a little bit of, I said, there's it's a very minor fairy story. I came back to contemporary, and historical is still where I find my safe place. If I'm just looking for a book to make me happy and I'm not nervous, it's going to be a historical romance. And that gets into why I read it. I'm a girl who loves Disney movies and chick flicks and romance novels, and I think I love them all for the same reason. I like the idea of a woman being loved like she should be, and being respected, and having a happily ever after. And that doesn't mean perfectly ever after. There's a difference, and I do believe in those things, and I love them, and I love seeing all these different relationships between people. And because not all romance novels are the same. They have different stories, and they have different lives, and I just really enjoy that. And then I know that it's going to end happily. I know ultimately, even there's been a couple that, in a series, where when the first book ends, the couple isn't perfectly happy together, or they're not even together. But I know by the end of the series, everything will be happily ever after, and that these characters will have love, and that I really like, and that's what I turn to it for. There's a safety there in knowing. I love seeing all of these characters. I feel like some of them are my friends, especially in this series. When I read the Hathaway series by Lisa Kleypas, I believe maybe the first 3 were out when I started reading it, but I think it was just the first 2, and I was so intrigued by Leo, the brother in the series, his story, from what I got to see of him in the first couple books, that I just couldn't wait for his book to come out. And I went to Barnes & Noble when it came out, and I was so excited to read it, and I cared so much about him, and I wanted him to have a happily ever after, and I wanted to be able to spend time in his head, and that's what I love about it, is you have this opportunity to meet these characters and spend time with them and get to care about them and everything. So that's just my quick little history and why I read romance. If you read romance and want to share anything, let me know down in the comments, or if you've never read it and have anything to say, feel free as well. Thanks for watching. Bye!